Okay, welcome back to 3 of 3. This is going to be the third DVD in this particular set. And Lindsey, welcome back to the program.
Stan, thank you for allowing me to be in your studio and tell the American people what an 87-year-old elitist said to me just a matter of hours ago. Chaplain, I'm too old to care. Just tell them everything. And one of the subjects that I find everybody is interested in is war.
Oh, absolutely.
Will it happen? When will it happen? Where will it happen? They already have it planned. It's all in the works. They know where it's going to take place. I knew from 6 months ago when I talked with this individual that war was in their plans. You see, the elite have everything to gain from war. And since so many people are requesting me to ask him this question, when I talked with him just a little while ago, I said, what are the plans of war? Now, 2 years ago, he said it'll take place approximately, well, it wasn't 2 years ago, 6 months ago. He said nothing in the way of war for probably the next 2 years. And he said that is in the area of Iran. Then this time, I thought, well, since everybody's asking about this, maybe I should ask him the question again. So I did. I said, what about war? As a result of what happened to me, as you remember, 2 years ago, I had to close down my website and many things. And as a result, I've been very cautious in saying certain things. When this gentleman said to me the other day, Chaplain, I'm too old to care, just tell them everything. Well, I asked him the question, I said, will there be war with Iran anytime soon? Here is his answer. There will be no war with Iran if we have anything to do about it in the next year. So you can pretty much dismiss it from your mind. Well, then I asked him the question, no war. You say, if you have anything to do about it. He said there's only one way that war will exist with Iran, and that is if Israel starts it.
Right.
Now, he said, apart from that, you don't have anything to be concerned about. So let me just state emphatically that war is not in the works with the elite for right now.
Well, as a student of Bible prophecy, let me toss in my 2 cents worth. I don't think that we're going to see war with Iran yet either. I think that, as I understand Bible prophecy, what's going to happen, it's going to be when the Arabs, in other words, several nations, attack Israel, and that will happen after a catastrophe hits America, when America is in a weakened state. I don't see it happening yet.
War will happen.
I agree.
There is going to be a war. Even the elite have war planned. So let's play at this point a section. You know, Smedley Butler was a great man. Smedley Butler was recognized as one of the most prominent people of his time, Major General Smedley Butler. There was a person who did a reenactment of Smedley Butler's famous speech as a result of the book that he had written. So I want you to listen very carefully to what a Major General of the United States services had to say. At this point, listen to Major General Smedley Butler, and then we'll go from there.
Today, Major General Smedley Butler had these words to say at the National VFW.
War is a racket. It always has been. It is possibly the oldest, easily the most profitable, surely the most vicious. It is international in scope. It is the only one in which the profits are reckoned in dollars and the losses in lives. There are only 2 things we should fight for. One is the defense of our homes, and the other is the Bill of Rights. War for any other reason is simply a racket. It may seem odd for me, a military man, to adopt such a comparison. Truthfulness compels me to. I spent 33 years and 4 months in active military service as a member of this country's most agile military force, the Marine Corps. I served in all commissioned ranks from second lieutenant to major general. And during that period, I spent most of my time being a high-class muscle man for big business, for Wall Street, and for the bankers. I suspected I was just part of a racket at the time. Now I am sure of it. I helped make Mexico safe for American oil interests in 1914. I helped make Haiti and Cuba a decent place for the National City Bank boys. I helped in the raping of half a dozen Central American republics for the benefits of Wall Street. I helped purify Nicaragua for the International Banking House of Brown Brothers in 1910. I brought light to the Dominican Republic for American sugar interests in 1916. In China, I helped to see to it that Standard Oil went its way unmolested. Looking back on it, I feel I could have given Al Capone a few tips. The best he could do was operate his racket in 3 districts. I operated on 3 continents. A racket is best described, I believe, as something that is not what it seems to the majority of the people. Only a small, inside group knows what it is about. It is conducted for the benefit of the very few at the expense of the very many. In the World War, a mere handful garnered the profits of the conflict. At least 21,000 new millionaires and billionaires were made in the United States during the World War. How many of these war millionaires shouldered a rifle? How many of them dug a trench? How many of them knew what it meant to go hungry in a rat-infested dugout? How many of them spent sleepless, frightened nights ducking shells and shrapnel and machine gun bullets? Out of war, nations acquire additional territory if they are victorious. They just take it. This newly acquired territory promptly is exploited by the few, the selfsame few who wrung dollars out of blood in the war. The general public shoulders the bill. It would have been far cheaper and safer for the average American who pays the bills to stay out of foreign entanglements. For a very few, this racket, like bootlegging and other underworld rackets, brings fancy profits. But the cost of operations is always transferred to the people who do not profit. Take the World War. It cost the United States taxpayer some $52 billion, and we haven't paid that debt yet. But ultimately, it's the soldier who pays the biggest part of the bill. If you don't believe this, visit the American cemeteries on the battlefields abroad, or visit any of the veterans' hospitals in the United States. Napoleon once said, "All men are enamored of decorations, they positively hunger for them." So, by developing the Napoleonic system, the medal business, the government learned it could get soldiers for less money, because the boys liked to be decorated. Until the Civil War, there were no medals. Then the Congressional Medal of Honor was handed out. It made enlistments easier. In the World War, we used propaganda to make the boys accept conscription. They were made to feel ashamed if they didn't join the army. So vicious was this war propaganda that even God was brought into it. With few exceptions, our clergymen joined in the clamor to kill, kill, kill. To kill the Germans. God is on our side. It is His will that the Germans be killed. And in Germany, the good pastors called upon the Germans to kill the Allies, to please the same God. Beautiful ideals were painted for our boys who were sent out to die. This was the war to end all wars. This was the war to make the world safe for democracy. No one mentioned to them as they marched away that their going and their dying would mean huge war profits. Thus, having stuffed patriotism down their throats, it was decided to help make them pay for the war too. So we gave them the large salary of $30 a month. All they had to do for this munificent sum was to leave their dear ones behind, give up their jobs, lie in swampy trenches, and kill and kill and kill. And be killed. Well, war is a racket, all right. And the only way to smash this racket is to conscript capital, industry, and labor before the nation's manhood can be conscripted. Let all the officers, directors, high-powered